Hey, this is Stacia, and we're gonna do another training game on Lichess.org. Just been in the mood to do these lately. Um, so at the start of this game, my rating was about 1980, so I think I can fly the bird up a little bit. Okay, getting close to 2000. I want to go feed my little baby birds. Okay, so this game I faced someone rated 2002, and they were born in 2002. No, I'm just kidding. I have no clue when they were born. But anyway, this time I had black and they went 1d4. So I played d5. I also have knight f6 in my repertoire, but I like playing d5 lately. And they went knight f3 and I went knight f6. And I thought, okay, am I going to see a London system with bishop f4 or like a Tory attack or with bishop g5? What am I going to see here? And they went c4. So that kind of surprised me because this kind of transposes into like a queen's gambit. And I like the queen's gambit accepted these days. So I took the pawn. e3. This is the more passive approach. White could, well, actually, I was going to say they could go e4, but they actually can't. They would have to go knight c3 if they wanted to try for e4. So let's just explore this for a minute. Now I still can't protect the pawn with b5 because the knight's like on that. But I could threaten to do it with a6. Then they could go e4. So then I could go b5 and if they play e5, I can go knight d5 and then it says black or white should play a4. It's like the only move that holds anything for white. So if they just go knight takes, queen takes like this, well, my queen's awesome. If you can get your queen like in the center and there's not a knight coming to attack her, then she's just a good queen, just sitting in the center doing a lot of stuff. So yeah, this would be good. And if they do go a4, yeah, I would be nervous about this. Not sure what to do here. It actually gives the move e6, which is surprising because I would expect them to take, right? Now, I can't take because I'll lose my rook. I will sack that rook sometimes, but this is not a time when I would. So instead, I should just pin the knight because now I'm threatening knight takes, pawn takes, and bishop check, and that will win the rook on a1. So white will have to deal with that. Let's say queen c2, and then I can play. Wow, I would have never thought of this move, so I'm kind of glad I looked at this. Knight b6. So the idea is to come back and defend the rook so that now I'm ready to take. And if they take, I don't think we care. They just help us develop. So interesting. I went really far down that line, but I do think it's interesting, like playing for ideas and then seeing how the computer would do it or fight against it. So I was trying to get e4 in. Okay, but in the game, he played e3. This is a little more passive. And I just went e6. This is my repertoire. He took back the pawn, c5, fighting in the center. White can't really take because, that's not really good for white. So they usually don't. They usually castle, which is what they did. Now the queen's protected by a rook. And I just played a6. Now, actually, white can take this now. When they do this, though, I kind of like these positions. They just feel like not much for white. They feel evenish to me with chances for both sides. Let me put it that way. Like for two GMs, it's probably drawish. For me, it's chances for both sides. So yeah, they would do this, and then I take back the pawn. And I think these positions are fine. I'm a little behind on development, but it's not like white's development is that great either. So white's only slightly better here. Okay, but in the game, I went a6 and they went a4. So they saw that I was going to play b5. And they were like, no, I don't want to let you do that. No b5 for you. Because I want to go b5, put my bishop here. Notice that with the pawn on e6, I got to figure out something to do with this bishop, right? Like, so playing b5 and going like this, that's a very nice way to develop my queen side, so white put a stop to it. Now, in return, they did give up the b4 square, so, you know, I could think about hopping my knight in there later. So it's a little bit of a concession, but okay, it's fine, of course. So now I took on d4. It's hard for me to explain this move, but what I've learned is that when we take on d4, we're giving white a choice. We're basically saying, do you want to take with a pawn or with a knight? I really don't think they should take with a queen. I've never seen anyone do that. Well, taking with a queen's kind of ridiculous. I mean, they're just helping me develop. And if they take an isolated queen pawn with no queens, that just seems, that's just begging for trouble, in my opinion. So anyway, my opponent did take with a knight, though. And so I think the more challenging move is this. E takes d4. Yeah, I mean, white's pawn is an isolated queen pawn now, but they do get lots of play for the rect pawn structure. And d5 has crushed me in the past, and it could crush me again. So I'd be scared of d5. I do want to review really quickly what I would do here. Make sure that I'm not blundering anything. I think here I would go, gosh, probably bishop e7. Okay, I see that move's fine. They could go queen e2. This is the move I'd probably be worried about. Actually, is it? I think I'd be more worried about knight c3, trying to push d5 as soon as possible. And then I would really want to play knight c6, and I'd have to figure out if I can. Knight c6, d4. If I take, well, first of all, after knight c6, d4, I was going to say, first of all, can I ignore it? No, they would take the knight, so can't do that. So d4, we take, they take with a knight. If I take, they take. Now they're threatening bishop f7 check, which after king takes doesn't win my queen because the rook will defend, luckily. But yeah, that position, let's figure that out. I think I'm fine there, but I want to make sure. Yeah, d5 is a move. So here we do take. Okay, I would probably castle right now. So you have to analyze these lines from a distance, because if d5 crushes you, then you cannot allow it, you know? And I couldn't play knight c6. But I think this is fine. In fact, I think this may be a position I know. Yeah, because white can play queen b3. And white's just like, I remember this from my repertoire, white's just like one tempo too slow. They need to get, if they had rook d1 in, I'd be in serious trouble. They'd be threatening this, and they would have a serious initiative. But here I have like this move, I do believe. Is it knight a5? Or is it knight b4? I'm trying to remember which one it is. I think it's knight a5. Because this is a disruptive tempo on the queen. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the queen is protecting something, so she has to maintain protection of that. And then I can go knight c6 because now I'm threatening to fork the queen and the bishop. Yeah, and there is a kid I know. He might be 17 or 18 now, but I really like him. His name is Juan Orellana. And he showed me that he had this line in an actual game. I think it was at the Cleveland Open last year, which I'm about to play this coming weekend. So that'd be funny if he had it last year and I get it this year, but we'll see. Anyway, it's good to review stuff like that, but I do remember it now, so I think white's fine, or black's fine. So, okay. In the game, though, I think knight takes is a little less ambitious, but certainly not a bad move at all. Now, if I go knight c6 here, you know, they could take. And I don't know about this because they're threatening to take my queen, and if I trade queens, now I've got horrible pawns and they have a rook in the center and I don't. And yeah, I don't like this position. So you actually shouldn't go knight c6 here. That's why I played bishop d7. So I'm saying, okay, I'm going to go knight c6 next. Then if you take, it solves my problem with my bishop too. This is also for my repertoire though. Queen e2. Yeah, this queen e2, rook d1 plan. It's kind of annoying because really I just want to develop. But once they put the rook on d1, it's a little more difficult. I did play knight c6. They went rook d1. And now I could decide where I want to put my queen. I thought I can go to any of these squares. Should be fine. I chose c7 simply because it doesn't block my b pawn and it overprotects d7. Turns out that is the top engine move. So, okay. They went knight to c3. So, just developing, I think. And you know what? They have to figure out what they're doing with their bishop as well. And the knight on c6 is actually stopping them from going b4, so I kind of like that. Notice when the pawn's overcommitted, you know, the b4 square is mine. So I like that. Okay, bishop e7. I just want to castle. Yeah, and e4. I thought this might be a good move. I wasn't sure. It's definitely I mean, it takes more space and it opens up their bishop. So I think that's their goal. They wanted to open their bishop up. Now, when you see a move like this, you also have to look, what did it leave behind? Left behind these two squares. But I didn't think taking the knight was warranted yet. I mean, my king's still in the center. So let's just castle. That's what I thought. And then I thought, if e5, I thought I could take it with a queen or a knight. Now, after e5, I can take it. But if I take with the queen, I'm pretty sure I lose the game. So if you want to pause your video and see if I'm right, what happens if queen takes pawn? All right, so I'll show what I thought. I thought if queen takes pawn, there's knight takes knight. That attacks my queen. I'm attacking their queen, but their queen's protected. And their knight's attacking e7, and that's going to be a check. So I thought if I trade queens here, I'm going to lose the game because after check, I don't have time to take that knight anymore. I have to do this. They're going to take my queen. And, well, this is not... I'm just down a lot of material, so I lose. So I think I was right about that. Yeah, I was. The engine didn't say it right away, I noticed, but now it knows that queen takes is a blunder. So I took with a knight, though. I couldn't find anything wrong with this move. I was like, hey, that's a pawn. But what I liked even more is that I'm on the bishop in more than one way. So I think, you know, white has to basically give a pawn and then retreat. that means I'm probably doing well. They did retreat. I just simply came back. I'm like, hey, look, I'm up a pawn. I'm developed. All I have to do is bring my rooks to the center and just play a pretty solid position. It's not my normal mindset, but I think that's the correct mindset here. So, okay, bishop e3 was played. And now I think I should just get my rooks in the game. He got his rook in the game. Yeah, the rook is across from my queen, so I started seeing some stuff that I didn't like. What was it that I saw? I was thinking about playing knight b4, but then I thought there's stuff like this and like this. Yeah, the engine likes knight d5. It's protected though. So I have to move my queen, or at least I would think so. Wow, the engine says I shouldn't move my queen. It says I should go knight takes d5. Okay, let's look at this line because I do find these lines interesting where you sack your queen for an equal amount of material. I guess we take here, they go bishop b3, saving the bishop. And now what? Well, I've got all 4 minor pieces. I've got 2 rooks. My opponent has 3 minor pieces, 1 rook, and a queen. So if we cancel out the rooks and cancel out 3 minors, I've got a rook and a bishop for the queen, and hopefully also a pawn. Yeah, my opponent has 5, I have 6, so it's equal material. Yeah, and the engine gives, 0-0. So, yeah, these positions, you have to look at them because sometimes you sack more material than you think, and they give up their queen and they're actually better at the end. I've had that happen. So I pay more attention to this now. Okay, but in the actual game, I went queen f5 here. I was just like, hey, look, I'm not going to step into that stuff, right? Like, and I thought my queen's not bad on a5. The reason is I can transfer all the way to the king side if I want and go for an attack with moves like this. And this, and this, and rawr. And this, and this. Okay. You get the point. So that's an idea. Another idea is that I'm on this pawn, and so is this bishop. And if this knight moves away, or my knight moves away, I could think about taking on a4. So that was also an idea. Okay, so they went knight to f3. This is a surprising move to me. I did not expect it. Why did they play that move? I think they played it because they have an idea. They want to go knight f3, and they could possibly jump the knight here. It is protected and attacked. But I think the real reason is they want to kind of eye up my bishop, and they would love for me to, move this knight away. And if they, so like for example, if they play knight e5 and I take, they'll have rook takes e7. My bishop will be hanging. So I was aware of this though during the game. So I protected it. Bishop b1. Yeah, we both had less than 10 minutes now on the clock, but we started at 15, but it's 20-second increment. So Lichess still calls that classical, so that's good. Yeah, and I went over here. I shot over to h5. Now, the engine said I made one mistake this game, and this is it. Now, black's minus 1.7 still, so not that bad of a mistake. But I guess I was minus 3 if I find the right way forward, or any other way forward, it looks like. So it turns out the right move was knight to e5. That's hard for me to play. That's really hard for me to play because I just moved my knight back from there. Like not long ago at all. So doing that, if it's not a good move, then it's like, what are you doing? So what is the idea behind this move? Well, we do open up the rook and we open up this. It's got to be because we can take on a4. I think that has to be it. And if they take here, we centralize our queen. And we're X-raying like a queen trade basically, which kind of ties down the knight. And let's say they go, what would I be afraid of here? Anything? I honestly don't know what they should do. Yeah, I don't know what they should do. Oh, they could do this. They did this in the game. Bishop b6, attacking my rook. Here I could trade queens. I don't think they can throw in a Zwischenzug here. Like, they are threatening to take my bishop for free now. But then I probably can go queen takes d1, because that's check. So I get a rook. And after they take back, then I take back. Okay, I'm up a lot of material here. So that worked. So yeah, after this and this and this, bishop b6, they cannot take on d8. They have to take this way. So that's just a trade, and I can probably just move my rook now. In fact, I could probably do this because I'm going to take their rook next. So they need to take me. And now I just move my rook, right? Like, I mean, the engine actually gives rook b8. Wow. Rook b8. I'm wondering if the idea is bishop d8 and then b5. That must be the idea, because if any kids are watching, don't put your rook on a passive square. That's the most passive square I've ever seen. I'm going to protect my pawn that's not even attacked. That's how nervous I am. Okay, engine, whatever. Instead of that, I would be tempted to just play here and just, if they want to trade, hey, great. I mean, isn't my position better here? I'm up a pawn. So that's good enough for me. Okay, instead in the game, I went queen h5. Because, you know, I have ambitions. If I can attack them, I will. So they went bishop b6. I actually kind of missed this during the game, which it does suck when you miss an idea and then it's played and you're like, oh no, I didn't see this. Like, oh no, am I losing? Oh no. But like, no, this is fine. I can just move my rook. So I did. Knight e4. And I thought they were really hoping that I would take the knight here, because this is that thing I was talking about earlier. If I take the knight, they could, let's see, can they take on d7 now? I don't think so, because I've still got this knight. If they do this right now, what would I do? Ooh, I know what I would do, but I don't want to ruin the surprise, so let's go back from here. Because I set this thread up later. Or actually not. Hang on a second. if I take they take back. I forgot what line I was looking at. Never mind. It's not important. Okay, after bishop e6, rook here, knight e4. I don't think I should take that though. I really don't. Oh yeah, I was looking at this. And I was wondering, what should I play in this position? Well, I do see a nice move here. If you want to pause your video and try to find it, go ahead and do so now. This is really nice. Okay, so notice that there's a flaw with rook takes d7. That rook was protecting the rook on c1. So since we're attacking that rook, we can actually go like this. Check that out. We're attacking the queen. So if they just take it, you know, this looks pretty good. Not sure what they do now. Notice that they cannot, like if they block with a queen, they lose their queen. If they block with a knight, they lose their queen. So that's not good. So yeah, black's winning. So they can't take with just anything. And if they try like trading first, well, then we take the queen. That's with check. So now they have to get out of check. King f1, at least attack the knight, but I feel like this is too good. Is it though? There's a lot going on, isn't there? Like they can take this. They could take this. If they take this, I check. They take, I at least win the bishop back, so that's cool. So they should do this move. But now, wow. The engine gives knight f6. Trying to understand what's going on here. Must have to do with the queen. Wow, I actually don't know. I don't know. Let's look at this. I was thinking, you know, this opens up the queen to check in various places. They could take here, though. And then we go knight d5. Forking. Wow. Okay, but they could take that. But then knight f4 check. Okay. Yeah, I'd have to calculate this. Because I don't know what's going on here. Let's say king... Well, if they step on the back row, like if they go here, I was like, hey, this looks good, you know, protect the pawn. But then the knight's guarding stuff. And, I mean, is that like mate? It's almost mate. Ooh, I could pick up the bishop at the very least. I gotta watch out for that too, though. So, okay, let's just play this, and then we'll move on. We do check here. Yeah, they have to play knight e1, actually. Okay, but now I'm going to get mated. So here, ooh, wait a minute. I have queen e2 check. Yeah. That's going to be mate. Doesn't matter which way you take. So, okay. in the actual game, they went knight e4. I did not take the knight. Okay, because I saw that there's stuff with this. And, I mean, okay, I did see this move coming. Now, I thought here I had two options. I thought I could play queen g4. That looks like a more active move. Or I could play queen h6, which is also a nice option. But one move is good. One move's like winning, and one move's a blunder. So if you want to pause your video once again and see which one is good and which one's a blunder and why, go ahead and do so now, and I'll tell you. Yeah, I was very close to playing queen g4. This is a blunder. The reason is I was calculating like h3 and stuff like that, and I thought, hey, I'll go grab that pawn. But they can play rook c4 here. That's protected. And yeah, where does my queen go? There's not a lot of squares, and when the knights are like this, they're like protecting a lot of stuff. So, you know, where am I supposed to go? All of this is taken away. Can't go to g6 either. Starting to get the picture, right? I guess my queen is just trapped. Now, luckily, I do have queen takes rook, which looks like a sacrifice, and it is, but it's not that bad, because after queen takes queen, we have knight takes b6. So a rook and a bishop for a queen is not the worst thing I've ever seen. I did not mean to rhyme. Maybe you'd like to pay me a dime. Sorry. But the knight conveniently captures the bishop and protects the bishop on d7. So this position's still, you know, not losing. It's better for white, though. Okay. Oh, not to mention the queen was under attack. But yeah, luckily I chose queen a6. I think I did see rook c4, but I kind of assumed I had escape squares, and I don't think that's true. But I played queen a6 because I saw a nice idea. The idea is that we're eyeing this rook. So I knew that white wants to play rook takes d7, but now if they play rook takes d7 at the wrong moment, you know, we can take that and that'll be free. Also, the knight can now move. It's actually discovery. So yeah, maybe knight d4 is a move. Okay, so a5 was played. Yeah, my other idea was to take the bishop, obviously. So a5. I'm trying to take that bishop for a while. Okay, and I went here. Yeah, so here I have that move, knight d4. I do have it. They can't just take because, you know, we take their rook. We're going to take that next. So this is really good. And if they take here, remember the queen's on that. So, you know, this is not good. Yeah, black's winning. So I did have this move. And if they try to trade first, then we take the queen. This is the same as before. It's not totally free this time, but still they have to take back, then we take here. They lose too much material there. So after queen h6 and a5, I could have gone knight d4, the incisive move, but I played here. Not as incisive because it doesn't attack the queen, but I had similar ideas, not as good. Okay, so now he can take, because I don't have that intermezzo knight takes queen check. So I just simply took back. Of course, I did calculate this, though. And I also liked the fact that my knights are like super solid like this. That's the pattern that I saw. I was like, hey, they have no pawn that can kick away my knight. My knights are protecting each other. My knight's blocking this move. So I'm good. You know, next I can go here or here. And Yeah, my position's good. That's what I thought. Turns out that is correct. Okay, so they played bishop e4. I went bishop e5 just to tickle the queen. He has 2 minutes at this point in the game, and I have 4 minutes. I just think it's a good idea to play like forcing moves that might rattle your opponent a little more than accurate moves when they're really down on the clock. People do it to me all the time. So he moved his queen. Yeah, I think maybe they were hoping I wouldn't see that they could trade like this, wreck my structure. But I did see it. So I simply traded. Yeah, and they took note that they can't really take like this because I think rook c1 check's just too strong. I mean, that's going to be mate, right? Like, how is it not mate? Yeah, it's mate. They can't block. So I did see they have to take with the knight, which I was kind of happy about. I think, you know, this is not the most coordinated structure I've ever seen. And okay, so I went bishop c6. This was my plan originally, to check, to like attack the queen and then come here because I need to protect this pawn. My opponent was sneakily saying like if I take his bishop, he could throw in this move. That attacks my rook. Yeah, and then if I go here, they could take. I take. I'm not sure, but I don't think I should allow them to take on b7. So I played here. Now they're not going to take on b7. Knight wants to come in. So I pinned it. Yeah, Engine likes this move. I thought this was annoying. So they moved their rook, and I'm like, well, do I trade or not? I think I can trade here because my thought was the knight is going to be, you know, demoted to the back rank. I'm still threatening knight takes b6. And the knight on g3 does not inspire confidence. I'll go g6 soon to make it even worse. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm up a pawn, right? So how bad could this be? So I did do this. King f1. Let's get that bishop finally. So now I have 2 bishops, and white's pawns are actually doubled and weak. So I felt I must be like really winning here, which is true. But being winning and actually winning it in time pressure, those are 2 different things. So I went here. I'm going to take another pawn. If I get 2 pawns up, I should definitely be winning. I could even trade pieces at that point. Okay, but I traded here. So I could take the pawn. f3. Yeah, g6. I'm playing fine so far. Dungeon's approving. Now, I thought about taking the knight, but I think if I take the knight, I lose a pawn because the bishop will take, and now good luck defending that, right? So I didn't do that one. Actually, I could because I could counterattack. Yeah, but once you oh, wait, then they get this. Yeah, this is a draw now, so got to be careful. Opposite colored bishops, a pawn up. Yeah, that's going to be a draw. Sometimes 2 pawns up is a draw. So I actually played a little more ambitious. I didn't try to trade pieces right away. Yeah, I figured they would push, and I thought, okay, now maybe I can take and then play bishop c3. Guess even there they could do this, takes. So I wasn't exactly sure how to proceed here. I did not want to take on g4. Now it turns out that's the best move. But to me, this feels like I'm giving white something they want. Because after takes, they're sort of threatening h5. And they're going to have a passed pawn. So they're trying to create a passed pawn. That's why I didn't do that. I went here instead. Knight c5. Yeah. Yeah, here, I was a little scared that I might be drawing. I think I have to take the knight because otherwise I'm not sure how I protect that. Can't go there. I get taken. So I did take it and played king d7. Yeah, now I'll tell you that I was calculating bishop c4 and I wasn't sure about it. If I was sure about bishop c4, I would have played it. Because I'm pawns up. It should be winning. But what if it's not? What if it's a draw? What I calculated was here, 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 king e3, king d7, king d4. I did not like this too much. I mean, I could go, oh, I have this check too, which I didn't really think about. Why would I do that though? The engine likes it. I don't like it. Okay, I was thinking this and this. You know, I guess I should have known that I could push these pawns. This is a classic fox in the chicken coop position. You know, like this pawn will distract the king, and then nom nom nom, and I eat all the pawns. So okay, you know, I really should have seen that, but I didn't. So, but that's okay. I think if you're not sure about trading pieces, just don't trade. You'll still be fine. That's true here. I'm still good. Yeah, in fact, I was thinking about playing it next because now my king's a step closer. So after like takes, I would have king c5. I'll take that pawn and protect my pawn on c4. That would definitely be winning. So I went for that. Now I thought they could take like this. And I did realize that they have play on that side of the board because, you know, if I ever move this pawn, they'll come here. They'll take that. I don't have easy ways to defend that, by the way. That's all blocked up. That's blocked up. So I like White's decision to go for that. Brought their king up. Yeah, I guess I should go king c6 here. I went e5. I'm just blocking the king out. I did not want to see this. Okay, they push the pawn. Yeah, I decided to take it. The other moves look pretty bad for me. I don't know. Like if I push it, they can take. Oh, I guess they shouldn't take. But I even thought this. Like, why am I letting this king all the way up like this? You know, looking at this now, though, it looks fine. I got to work on my visualization. I guess, you know, I had very little time on my clock, though. Yeah, 2 minutes. Okay, so I took, they took, and I was thinking my pawns are going to be too strong. And I looked at some lines. Yeah, they attacked that pawn, but I was like, okay. And I calculated a5 here because I was like, hey, a5. That's why I wanted my king here to protect the pawn and go a5. And if they take, which they did, I can go a4. That king is not in the square of the pawn, that's for sure. And I looked at all the ways the bishop could protect this square because that's what it needs to do. If that bishop can't protect that square, then I'm going to make a queen. I'm going to do it before them. So that's basically what happened. Bishop e2, I just push. Yeah, they actually resigned here. Well, actually, they ran out of time here. Pretty much a resignation, though, I would say. So, wow, I won my last 2 games in the end game. Not my strong suit. But I do feel like I'm playing those positions fairly well. Yeah, and overall, I didn't really have any big mistakes. So if we just go through this quickly, I had an opening that I'm very comfortable with. I did remember how to play this part of the game. I think queen c7 was like my first move out of book. Maybe knight c6 counts too. Yeah, all of this is really good. Happy with all this. Yeah, the engine had better ideas in this part of the game with knight e5. But just, you know, I kind of thought that would be the case too during the game. I was like, you know, the computer's going to like trying to win a4. But that's not how I play. I play a little more aggressive, so I'm not too upset about this. And then, oh, I'm upset I missed bishop e6 though. Shouldn't miss a move like that. But okay, I played it right. Queen h6, really glad I played that and not queen b4, or queen g4, where I get tracked by rook c4 and have to sack my queen. Yeah, I probably would have lost that, to be honest with you. So, I liked all of this. Yeah, I liked pinning. Yeah, I mean, this position's excellent. Even I can win this. And I did win it. Yeah, I saw knight c5, and I was like, well, I just have to take it. But I did think this is still winning, and it is. Yeah, and then finally I calculate, I think I actually calculated this line earlier, though. Yeah, I calculated it here after takes. So I was thinking here, 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 and I thought, okay, in that position I'll go a5, they take, I go here. How did they protect that square? And I didn't see a way. So that's pretty good. So that deserves a win, right? Or a conversion, rather. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with this game. I'm also happy to tell you that, wow, I am up to 1993. I mean, one more game and I'm gonna reach my babies finally. I don't have any worms in my mouth. They're gonna be like, where you been all this time? And I'll be like, oh, I don't have anything for you, sorry. I just came to say hi. I'll come back later. Okay, anyway, jokes aside, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's a little thorough, but I'm playing a classical OTB tournament this weekend, the Cleveland Open. So yeah, I want to be thorough and calculate a lot. So that's kind of my MO at the moment. So I'll see you next time. Bye.